What can I tell you guys? It's been one of those weeks. I took some time to dream about a cafe last week and I sketched that up, and that's a picture of me. I'm not trying to dox myself or anything. I am on Instagram, you have seen my face. But I've got some bits from my spring kit that I printed out, and I'm kind of getting ready at the moment to do some pocket pages. Those are labels that I made, and those pattern bits are all hand stuff, like hand drawn. I use this so much, that Muji book, and I'm just gathering a bunch of things that I feel will go together. Ooh, I just moved a piece of sticker away, which I haven't really shown many of you. What we're looking at now are some bits from, I think it's the Marigold collection. I changed the color on that green tag at the bottom, and this is Bernard. Have y'all met Bernard? I drew Bernard for, like a spring freebie to go with my kit. Bernard's available as a free printable on the website now, by the way, if you want to print Bernard out. I've printed Bernard out on some brown. This is not craft paper. This is like literally high quality, slightly textured brown paper. It takes paint okay as well. If you were thinking of doing some mixed media stuff, find a good like taupe brown colored paper. Think about adding some ink and stuff to it, because it's really nice to layer with tones of brown, because this stands up against craft paper if you think about it. So we're about to do some final bits with my little Fiskars snips, which help me do a more detailed job, because getting my fingers in a pair of scissors can be challenging at times, especially when I'm having a bad day. My fingers hurt a lot. So these are the stamps from the Maggie Holmes collection. I'm pretty sure it's Marigold. I have AC Digitals, and that's kind of where I grab inspiration from, or I grab extra pieces from vintage style stuff. I have ordered a pair of thinning scissors, and those are used to thin your hair, and I've got a cheap pair coming that I will use to cut around stamps and stuff to give it a bit of a textured, ripped effect, because I don't have a hole punch that does that, not at that level. We've now come to the part where I'm trying to see whether my this is just a dollar store hole punch. It's really not that reliable, but either way, yeah, I realized that it wasn't the right size, and I was like, okay, well, I'm gonna have to cut this by hand. Not horror of horrors so much, I'm not too bad at doing this bit, but I guess, oh wait, I fast forwarded for you. All done already. I love printing sheet music on vellum, and you will see here that I use some Scotch glue roly tapey thing to put it down. And does it affect the way it, can you see the glue tape between it? Not really, so I just decided to go with it. So I drew that flower on paper, I drew the base of that green pattern on paper. I do a lot of stuff on paper before, but this was on Procreate, the cafe was on Procreate, but I do a lot of stuff on paper with color pencil, because I don't think anything can replicate that. That's hand lettered by me, and then this tag is from the Maggie Holmes, which I recolored to the green because I wanted the green to work. So I'm going to do 4 separate ones, and it's going to go into my pocket pages. So I usually don't really write on this paper. This brown line paper, I always crumple it up. I don't know what it is about it, maybe because it's thin enough to do that with. And so you see me here sort of like, I tear it first and then I rip it, because God forbid you rip something and then tear it, because you might, it might affect the structural integrity of the paper too much. So crumple it first and then tear it. It's also more malleable after you've crumpled it, so you know exactly where you can actually control the tearing a bit more, at least in my book. And here we are. I'm trying to see how the layers come together. I know the green is going to be the focal point here, and I guess, yeah, here you go. I'm doing a bit more of ripping, and I'm just trying to, I feel like maybe too much green, and I'm trying to sneak in another of my one of my patterns there, but I don't have a big enough strip of it, which happens sometimes because I don't always print my patterns in full pages. And this is very thick cotton paper, the one that I just ripped, so it's sort of, it really takes tearing so well. I'm really fond of the effect here. So I'm gonna lay everything down, and here I go. How are y'all doing, by the way? Has it been a good week for you? I have to be honest, anxiety about Ukraine, and I don't mean to bring everybody down by saying this, but I'm staying off Twitter as much as I can and trying not to doom scroll. So this tag, I seem to be using foam tape on it. I think I wanted it to be lifted off because I feel sometimes with the crumpled bits at the bottom that it can be a bit warpy. So I like to make sure that the next element is it's raised above the thingy. This is a Creative Bubble Studio Calico stamp, and this is Decayed Leaf by Shashihata, which I bought because of Job. I'm sure many of you watched Job if you like journaling. I've been a member of the stationery community for many years, but I'm kind of new to being part of the Discord and Twitch community, and that's sort of really suiting me, so I'm learning a lot about that, and it well, frankly speaking, makes me happy, so there you go. And yes, the Shashihata ink actually matches the green colors that I've chosen, and I think yes, it was absolutely intentional. I'm very certain that it was. And here you've actually got craft paper. I've got a heck of a lot of craft paper, and I realized that at one point I was buying so much craft paper, but I could never, like, if you buy it from different stationery shops, the texture and the thickness of craft paper is different, and it was starting to bug me that I didn't have like one sort of craft paper to rely on. So I just went and bought it in bulk, as I also bought the cottony paper in bulk. This is a cheap dollar store pen. I think it's got some Pilot ink in at this point. But I think I've decided that this, I'm pretty sure, yeah, this layout, I'm doing like four cards, it's definitely about my cafe dreams. And it's been a long time since I've been thinking about it, because I'm kind of obsessed about food. I read about it in an academic way almost, right? Like, I read Condé Nast Traveler, and I feel so inspired to make this, destination a place that people feel safe and welcome, and also offer them something different for their palate. Because I have a cafe near where I live. It's called Neptune, and I go there a heck of a lot. And they do this dish that makes me feel like I'm in another part of the world. Oh, look at me, I'm doing something very no, I think. Dipping my water brush pen directly into my Herbin Vert Olive. This is I think this was the day after I got it. I think this is my first bottle of ink. I've never had one except, your regular black bottle of ink that you use for school and stuff. Like, I've never gotten a nice colored pen ink, and here I go. That's a water brush pen, guys. I am desecrating. I mean, this is not the most expensive ink in the world. At the same time, it is valuable, and I think I'm one of those people that I'm either very precious with my stuff and I never use it. I buy 2 of everything, and it gets really ridiculous. Things get kept for 20 years before I use them. And I'm 35, guys, so when I tell you that I kept things for 20 years, I am not lying. So it dried beautifully. I'm telling you, this ink is gorgeous. And that is The brown paper that I printed Bernard on, by the way. Can you see how the tones work? It's just gorgeous. And I think I picked this tip up from Leilani Scraps. I'm pretty sure I did. She used a pair of scissors, like a simple pair of scissors, not something that you would fussy cut with or something that you're too precious about. And this is cotton paper. So what happens is you really get texture, and it doesn't rip. It's sort of fluffs. And look at how, oh gosh, I think it turned out really nicely. And yes, I have smudged the black ink with my inky fingers. Am I going to cry about it? In my heart for about 3 seconds before I realized that I really can't be so precious, because life is incredibly violent. I like to think that I'm above that, but life is violent. Life just gets the better of you, and if you spend too much time crying over things that you can't undo, I mean, for someone who is as sensitive as I am, and I am sure all of you are as well, because stationary people, I would be a nervous wreck all the time. Not that I'm not already a nervous wreck all the time, but I have really had to force myself to stop spiraling. You know, there are days that I can't help it, but I usually take a deep breath and move on. This is from the Sticky Club kit. I don't know. Well, I've got a subscription to them, and this was the most cottagecore thing in the world. I mean, I love mushrooms. I'm sure all of us love mushrooms. I mean, I'm not just saying from a culinary standpoint, but they exist everywhere. And the other day I was on the way to work in a car, and on the way, there were I stopped at a traffic light, well, the Grab driver or the Uber driver, however you refer to those, and there were wood chips. Here in Singapore, people put wood chips around the base of trees, to protect the roots from the heat, because it's tropical. Sun here is pretty hardcore, and when you plant new trees, you really sort of need to look out for them. And so I saw like masses, like hundreds of little mushrooms grow up around the wood chips surrounding a newly planted tree, because it had just rained, and wood chips carry a lot of spores in them, I think, when they're shipped over. So I'm using the Dewdrop Brilliance coffee bean and a soramame. I hope you know what a soramame is. I don't even know what the name of the company that makes them, because I'm a bit of a noob, everybody. I don't really know the brand names like all of you recite. I need some help. Tell me what it is. Oh, I could check, but I think I would get too distracted, make myself a cup of tea, and never finish this voiceover. So there you go. So I decided to do a bit of a mixy-matchy. I'm trying to get this sort of mottled, organic effect. And I think a mushroom house is the most Frodo Baggins thing in the world. I mean, I know. Okay, so can I be really, really rude and tell you that I love the Lord of the Rings because of the Shire, and the rest of it, like the Riders of Rohan and everything, and Gandalf and Gondor and all of it. I mean, bless Gandalf, but I think I could just edit all 3 of the Lord of the Rings films and The Hobbit, and just watch all the Shire footage and be happy forever. And I don't know how many people would fight me on this. I mean, my thing is also that there are not many female characters in the Lord of the Rings books, and I think that maybe 10 to 15 years ago I would have said, yes, I've read the Silmarillion, yes, I've done all of this, and I will fight anybody that whatever. But I've just learned to relax about being a literary snob, you know. And there you go. I am just like Frodo and Samwise and all the hobbits, Meriadoc and Pippin. I just want them to stay in the Shire and have a lovely life and not leave the Shire. Thank you very much. And yes, I'm doing, again with the cardinal sin, I'm mixing coffee bean and the soramami on the same bloody stamp. Y'all, I I know I should take better care of my stationery, but I think I was telling you just now that um, I I mean, if you're in your mid-30s now, and if you grew up in Southeast Asia, especially if you didn't grow up in a capital city, maybe you understand what I mean when I say I used to collect everything and never use it, because you'd get one thing for Christmas and never use it because you can't get a hold of it again. Supply chains have changed so much over the past 20 years, and stationery is something that's so emotionally charged to somebody who's grown up in a developing country, because the kind of stationery you use in school tells a story of who you are. And yeah, I had a hard time growing up. I'm a minority, and I found a lot of refuge in stationery, in books and stationery. I'm sure all of you can relate. So here I am using foam tape again. Okay, so I'm having a serious conversation in my brain right now about how I want to use something that's a bit more sustainable than foam tape. I buy huge rolls of foam tape from the dollar store, and recently I heard someone tell me that you can use a bit of cardboard and some double-sided tape because foam is not good for the environment. And I hear you. I'm going to make an effort to do that. So does anybody else have other environmentally friendly options? Please tell me. Okay. So yeah, regarding that photo of me, my hair is very fluffy, but I don't look like that in real life. I've used a prequel app thingy Medusa to do like, it's a cartoon character AI thingamy, and am I somebody that puts an Instagram filter on that makes me look like I've got a ton of makeup on? No, I don't generally do that. But am I vain? Yes, I am. I am vain because I don't feel pretty. All of us have a lot of emotions around how we look, I'm sure. One of the things that always made me feel safe growing up is 2D animation. 2D animation. And when I saw myself in this cartoony format, I felt represented. I felt like the world took my features and made it into art. I don't know if you get what that means. I haven't seen myself represented in popular art or like in pop culture this way. This way I feel like I've joined the legions of people who have been, represented that way. And it's the small things that matter. This red line tape, guys, it's from Scotch. My friends have told me that this stuff is very strong. I don't know that I need to use it as much as I do, but there are days when I feel a bit wobbly and when my hands are not working as well as they should, which happens with me, that I feel like I need that little bit of extra security. And when you work with multiple layers the way I am doing now, I just felt like, okay, let's give myself a bit of that. And okay, she's mixed mediaing because that's how she rolls, I suppose. Yeah, I think I was trying to make sure that the background and picked on the colors in the foreground. I had used like a Muji pen that was cheap on sale to do those outlines around the photo of me. And I think I'm trying to angle it a bit so that it doesn't look like square on square on square, but I think in the end it ends up not being offset. Yeah, that's right. It's not awful. I think I was just having trouble getting things to stay within the confines of this 4-inch rectangle. It's 4 times 5 by 5 because I buy the pocket pages in bulk from Amazon. So yeah, so I'm playing on the theme of me being a dreamer. I buy the same color pens over and over again. So these were on cheap, on discount from Amazon. It's the exact same color of the pink in my kit. I don't do these things on purpose, but I'm not surprised the way my brain works. I love these four-pointed star squiggly things. It makes me feel like I'm sparkling. Aren't we all sparkling? So here's the Cafe of Glory. There's a time lapse of how I drew it on Instagram. I think on my highlights, if you want to see. It's the Procreate highlight. The Procreate time lapse. I actually have a small sewing machine. I don't intend to become a textile maven, but I wanted to try it and I haven't done, and this is me delaying the inevitable. I need to learn how to stitch, just a simple running stitch, nothing complicated, but you can always fake it with a marker, and that is exactly what I've done. This is me backing it with some of that craft paper, and again guys, if you like a bit more of a naturalistic look and feel, bulk buy your craft paper, bulk buy your whatever basic white cardstock that you use. I have Conqueror paper in cream, cardstock in white. I need to remind myself to get some Conqueror paper, which is 100 GSM, I think. I need to get that stuff. I have to top up my stock. I love stocking up on paper, guys. It's bad. It is bad. I don't empty the bank account for paper, but I will tell you that while I love recycling things, my packaging and stuff goes into my Pocket Pages. Honest to goodness, investing in good paper makes me really happy. It actually lasts. The joy that I get from knowing that I've got good paper in my study, it lasts. It's not something that's frivolous. I don't feel frivolous when I invest in good paper. I think I feel the same way about fabrics. I've got a bunch at the moment that I've picked up from work. I work at a fabric and stationery store. I work in their communications. Well, I am the communications manager there, and I love getting fabrics from work. And I think that's right. So I try to use up every bit of paper that I print. I have a lot of torn bits at the end of whatever I do, but I like that feeling where I've used as much of it as possible, because the paper I print on isn't cheap. So here's my advice: get yourself a decent printer, a decent home printer that has an eco tank or something that you can refill easily, and make sure that you invest in a good printer off the bat if you print in color, okay? And make sure that the ink is easily available. Make sure you've got plenty of stock up, like get plenty of ink in storage. Don't wait for it to run out. Don't be that person. And make sure that it's affordable. So make sure that you scale it accordingly. But when it comes to paper, it makes a difference. When you use a half decent printer to print on really good paper, you'll be surprised what you get. If you use a really good paper, a really good printer, and you print on shite paper, you're not going to be happy, mate. I'm telling you. Save on the ink, invest in the paper, and that's my advice. And as you can see, inkjet is what I've got. I also have laserjet, just for black and white. So I print documents and I print on different materials with my laserjet as well. And sometimes printing on laserjet's really great, because when you use watercolor on a laserjet, it doesn't budge because it's not ink, it's pigment that gets blasted onto the thing. So here's me making a wee tag thing to put into the back of the cafe that I dreamed up, which looks exactly like what I want, like a tiny building with a rooftop. I think maybe guardrails on the rooftop, but yeah, just like a single story building, surrounded by trees, lots and lots of trees. Maybe it's in a park, and maybe there's a river nearby, and I will make you huge cups of tea, and you will sit outside in maybe temperate temperatures. I'm talking 18 degrees Celsius, 20 degrees Celsius. I pray it never goes above 20 degrees Celsius, 22 degrees Celsius. And you know, Italian terracotta pot. Oh my gosh, a girl can dream, can't she? Oh my gosh. I'm sorry. I'm sort of floating away thinking about my cafe. Have you ever had a financier made with almond meal? Oh gosh, I really hope that you would. If I ever have a cafe, I'm going to have tons of those, because those are delicious. So yeah, a little tuck pocket with good old Bernard and me, you know, just words that sort of speak to me about my little dream of having a cafe. And here are the 4 bits, and that's how they look. I'm going to leave you with some photos. I hope you enjoyed this chat, and maybe we can talk on Instagram, or you can talk to me in the comments too. It's fine. This is me showing you close-up looks. Enjoy. XOXO, Gossip Girl. I did not just do that. Bloody hell, where did that come from? I don't even watch that much Gossip Girl. Okay. I'll talk to you later. Enjoy the closer look. See you soon. Take care, babes.